my heart started doing gigim, gigim, gigim. I knew that Kasala busted. My body started shaking. Hey, I knew I was dead. I knew I was a deadbeat. They called my name Victoria. I didn't know that my mom went to plan with Brother Shegu. Brother Shegu, if you are watching this video, I didn't forget. I didn't forget. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Victoria Fash. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. For a subscriber, you know I love you, you know I appreciate you so much. Thank you for always coming back. Okay, so today I know I've posted on this for a while, but I want to give a very big shout out to someone who left an insightful comment on my video in the last video that I did. If you believe in comments, thank you guys so much. I try to respond to all the comments, or as much comments as I can on my post, and that's because I really do appreciate your feedback. So the person I'm shouting out today is Sandra Ezeji. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing the names correctly, I'm very sorry. So Sandra Aniele, thank you so very much. So she left a comment on the last video I did on my channel. Many of you have not watched that video. It's the last video I did with my husband, where we talked about what we miss about each other and addressing some of the questions that you guys asked us, and it was a very interesting video, so you should watch it. I think she's also in a long distance relationship, because she was talking about how she can relate to, you know, some of the things that I mentioned in that video. So thank you so much, Sandra. I really do appreciate you. Okay, all right, so in today's video I want to share a story time. Yes, I have not done I have not done a story time in a long time on this video. I've only done it a couple of times. So today I want to talk about that one time. I think I've mentioned it on this channel before, that when I was very young, still in primary school, yes, I was suspended from school for the very first and last time. I remember it's been a very long time, okay, so the details are a bit muffled in my memory, but I was sleeping last night and I remember this, so I'm like, hey, I wanted to share the story time on my channel, but I never got around to it. So I was in primary 5, think. Then, and I remember there was a particular day. So if you, like I said, if you're familiar with the Air Force Base, you know that we have our schools, our hospitals, everything is inside of the barracks. So you hardly have to go outside. You have your market in there. You hardly have to go outside to do anything, right? Because you have like NAF insurance, which is like Nigerian Air Force insurance and all of that. So you basically get healthcare for almost free, right? If you're a military child, if you're a child of a person in service. And my dad was in service, even though he was not in, I wasn't based in Ikeja, I wasn't based in Lagos at the time, because one thing you need to also know is that, you know, they usually post, you know, military officers, right? So he was posted to a different state, and that was where he was living for some particular period of time. Then he'll be posted elsewhere. So that's how they work, right? So anyways, I don't even know if he had been posted at this time. All I know was that I think he had this particular day we went to school, and upon getting to the gate of the school, we were not allowed to come in because I think it was the beginning of the term and I hadn't paid my fees. Okay, so not normally the fees is not expensive, right? I think when I graduated from primary school, my school fees then was about 1,000 naira. Yes, it wasn't expensive to school. I think 1,000 or 750, one of them, sha. Anyway, so that's like really cheap. Like $7 or $8 or yeah, thereabouts. Anyway, so we had, I think my mom or my parents had not gotten around. It wasn't because we couldn't afford to pay my school fees, it was just that they hadn't gotten around to do that yet. So what they do is, if you don't have your teller, they call it a teller, that is when you go to, I don't know if they still do that now, when you go to the bank to pay your fees, you know, they give you a carbon copy of the payment. So when you're about to enter, I think they give us like 1 week break, like giving you a week to sort it out. But after a week, if you haven't, they won't let you come inside the school, right? So I remember I didn't have a teller, probably because my school fees had not been paid on that day, or it had been, but my parents had not given me the teller. I don't know what happened, but one way or the other, I did not have the teller, so I was not allowed to go inside the school. So what happens is that sometimes you would stay outside in the gate for like a while, and then eventually they will let you in. But I think this particular day we're just staying outside, and okay, like I said, that is the primary school. So we have Air Force Secondary School, okay, also that was also like within the barracks, but it was just like I think 10 or 20 minutes walk from the primary school to the secondary school. So I guess the same thing was happening in the secondary school. So they were also, you know, chased out of the school outside the gate. So we're all loitering around, and I remember there was like a field that you can just, you know, go, so that because the sun was scorching, and we went to the field. And that was where I met this guy. Let's call him T, right? He was a member of my church at the time, and I knew him from there, although we don't talk because he's in the secondary school, so he was older than me. It was like in the SS, like senior high school, right? So and I was still in primary school, elementary school. So yeah, anyways, at this time, I think I was around 10. I was 10 years old. I think I was, yeah, because I entered, no, let's say I was 10-11 years old. So anyways, so I got there, and then there was these other two girls. One actually I remember very well. Unfortunately she's late now. Let's call her I. So yeah, anyway, so I went to the tree and I saw her, and then I saw this guy that I knew from church. So I was like, hey, hi, and then I was invited to come and share a tree shade with them. So I went in there, and then we shared the tree shade, and we were just, because that's what happens sometimes when you don't like pay your tuition and they send you out of school. It's just a time for you to play, you know, and just, you know, instead of you to go home and tell your parents so that they would come and, you know, sort it out with the school, you just hang around and all of that. And I knew my mom had gone to work. I knew she wouldn't be at home, and I knew that there was no key to get in. I think there was key. We usually keep the key like somewhere, I think somewhere around the house, that like under the shed or something, under the mattress. So I could actually the mats, foot mat, so I could actually get the key. But anyways, we're just gisting and talking and playing around, and then this guy had a fantastic idea that they should host a party in his house, because obviously his parents also, his dad had been posted and his mom had also gone to school right now. So we have this guy, okay, his name is Joel. This one I will call his name. Joe was a pain in everyone's ass, right? Joe was this short guy. I'm not body shaming him, I'm just trying to describe who he is. He was this short guy who always had a weird character. No one wanted to be around him because he was a blabbermouth, okay? He was that person that, you know, a guy that acts like a sports irritable lady. I'm sure he's not the same anymore. I'm sure he's grown up, and all of us had our own traits when we were that young. So Joe was also sent out of school, right? So there was I and there was A. A was also in primary 6. So A and I were both in primary 6. They were both like friends with T, who was already, you know, like I said, my church member. So they were all gisting, and I came to meet them. And then T had the idea that we should have a bash, okay? Now, I know that you guys are Gen Z and Gen whatever. You guys don't know what bash is. What you guys call party, and you know, bash is like an illegal party for underage kids. Yes, I don't know what you guys call it, but when you're hearing that someone is doing bash and there's rocking inside, so bash and rocking is like a thing. If you know what I mean, put it in the comment section below. Anyway, so he was going to have a bash in his house, and bash is again illegal party. It's like secret party that your parents must not know about. It's the kind of party you have when your parents are not around, and you know they'll be drinking, but not a lot of drinking because we could not afford to buy drinks. I remember we just had just one alcohol there. I did not drink alcohol, okay, so before you nail me on the cross. But for the secondary school guys, you know, so he invited everyone, and Joel wanted to attend, and nobody wanted Joel there, because trust me, nobody wants Joel in their party. Joel, by the way, is, I don't know. Anyway, so so I was invited. I knew, okay, I knew the kind of family I came from. Party, in short, people are having birthdays, like kids having birthdays, where being, and they invite us, they give us IV to come to the birthdays, and the birthdays are actually happening right in front of our house, and we don't attend because my mom, you know, because if you know the barracks, I think I've said it a number of times on this channel, the barracks is like, there are predators everywhere, right? They're all, and because they're like soldiers, especially those who are new recruits, like young guys that, you know, maybe they couldn't get into the university, and then they decide to go and become soldiers, and then they come into the barracks and they look for young girls to sleep with. So it happens a lot. In short, one of the girls that I mentioned, you know, the one I said, you know, eventually passed, she was actually, it was said that she was raped by a soldier and she got pregnant and she poisoned herself and died. So you have those things happening in the barracks. So my mom definitely had enough reasons to make sure that we're secure and, you know, nobody is going to touch our kids. So she was very, very strict on us, on where we go, the parties we attend, the kind of friends we had. Sure, we didn't have friends. My mom did not allow us to have friends. I got to SS1 before, you know, I had like 2 closest friends that my mom knew with me, and because she knew their parents, right? But even with that, I'm not allowed to visit, okay? So whenever I visit them, it's like my mom is not around, I quickly go there with gist and whatever and I run back home, right? So yeah, anyway, so they invited me to the party and I know myself, I know the mother, I know the house I came from. I knew this was wrong and I should not be doing this, but I was like, what the hell? Because everyone was like doing big girl, they were going to attend. So I said I was going to attend. So they were like, okay, instead of us to wait and see if they would let us into the school, we're like, let's go. Around like 10 a.m, I think around 11-ish, because school was going to close around like 2 or 1. So obviously we need to be done because parents will start to come home and all of that. So we went home. I went home at 10. I went home. I didn't go home. I didn't go home to change. I actually wore my school uniform. I think so, yeah. I didn't go home to change. So we left from the school garden and then we went to T's house, my brothers and sisters. So we entered there, you know, the party started, and when you have bash, classic bash, you off the light, you lock the door, and then you have people inside the house. That was a classic bash, okay? So we turned off the lights, we went inside, we locked the door, and then the party started the music. That's all, because you don't eat, you don't play games, it's just music and guys, you know, rocking girls. By rocking, because I think I mentioned it in earlier, but maybe I didn't explain. Rocking is basically, you know, your how do they say it? You are caressing yourselves, right? So you see guys touching girls, pressing them and all of that. Yes, that is what a typical bash is. I have never attended one. That was my first time, but of course you hear of bash, you know what goes on in a bash. So it was his birthday, actually. It was his birthday. That's T's birthday. So I went in, me too, I joined, and then we're rocking. Nobody really rocked me, okay, because I was not the beautiful girl that I am now. I was pretty, okay, but you know, for most girls my age at the time, especially A and T, who invited me to this party, they already had, you know, the boobs. They grew up, they got into puberty earlier, or maybe I started school earlier and they were older, I don't know. Anyway, so they had more, you know, the boobs, the bum and everything. I did not have anything, okay? I just started having cocoa in my chest. Anyway, so I attended the party, and then, you know, the rocking started. We're dancing for about like 30 minutes. Normally it doesn't last long. That's why you create the element of night. You close all the windows and all of that. But Joel decided to attend the party, okay? So just started knocking the door. Nobody wanted to answer him because nobody wants Joel in their party. Joel kept knocking. He said we should let him in. We're like, we're not going to let him in. And I think somebody opened the door to yell at him to leave. So he got so pissed, and then he peeped inside to be able to see how many people were inside. So, and then he saw me. He saw me, was like, you, Damola, you're there. And then he pointed, he was like, no problem. Because we didn't let him in, he got upset. And then we thought that was it. So the party lasted maybe what, 40-45 minutes, 1 hour. Everybody went home, okay? I would not say that I know I danced, but obviously I was young and there were certain things that even as a then I would not entertain. I was just trying to appeal like I'm a big girl, I know what's going on, I'm also, you know, right? That was where I attended. It wasn't really because I wanted to go. There was nothing interesting about it. I never found anything interesting about it, but because everybody has gone to a bash and everybody has a story to tell, peer pressure, right? Me too, I decided that I wanted to be able to go to a bash and also come back to tell stories. That was the reason why I went. So, and everything was okay, you know. I went and I came back. If I'm squinting a lot in this video, it's because I'm not wearing my glasses. Sorry about that. So anyways, we left the party and I went back home, right? So I came back home. I didn't even tell my mom we were sent out of school or anything, but my mom, you know, sorted out the school fees, and then I think the following day she gave me my teller. So I went to school. There was nothing, and we thought what happened yesterday died yesterday, not knowing that Joel had a grudge on us for not allowing him to attend the party. I was in class I remember we were having, I think, mathematics or social studies, I can't remember, when I saw our head teacher. And if you see, this is not a bungalow school, no, this is a proper school, right? And all my life I've been in that school from nursery school till primary 5. That was my last year, because I didn't do primary 6. I wrote common entrance and I moved into the secondary school. That was my last year, right? I have never, in short, the head teacher has never had a reason to know my name, okay? I just saw the head teacher and assistant head teacher with cane in their hands, and I saw A and I saw I, the two ladies, I saw them behind, and they carried her to my class. Apparently they asked them to go and bring all the girls, but Joe only saw A, I, and me, and then they called me out. My body started shaking. Hey, I knew I was dead. I knew I was a deadbeat. They called my name Victoria. Oindamola. I looked around me. I was praying in my mind that it wasn't what I thought. But just as I was still praying, maybe somebody else, I saw Joel with. I don't want to describe the way Joel was then. And when I saw him, I knew obviously he had gone to snitch. And he had told them that we had a bash. Yeah. So Joel told them that we had a bash, we were drinking, girls were touching each other, like boys was rocking girls and all of that. That's all called rocking. I already explained that. And you know that the three of us especially were the people in the party. So the next thing I knew, myself, A, and I were in the assistant head teacher's office, and we're flogged. Obviously we're flogged, and then we're told to kneel down. They're going to call our parents. See, I would rather they flog me and kill me, just kill me there, than to call my parents, okay? But yeah, they said they were going to call our parents. I was crying, I was begging, I begged her, I cried and begged that they should please don't come. My mother would kill me, that I didn't do it, that I didn't rock anybody, that all I did was, in short, the other two girls were like, telling the woman that I actually did not dance, I only just attended, all of that. But they were like, as long as I attended, I was guilty. So they, yeah. So anyways, at the end of the day, they gave us a suspension letter. They gave us 2 weeks suspension, and for the suspension to be over, for them to be able to override the suspension, our parents had to come. There was no way I was going to tell my mom, because I knew I would be dead. There is no way, because you need to understand that my mom was a single mom who was trying to keep us sane in a very predatory society or environment, and she was doing her very best to both provide for us to eat, and also, I know I said single mom, yeah, don't be confused. She was a single mom. Anyways, she was the one paying, the tuition, doing everything to ensure, like, how do I go and tell her that I was suspended? My sister was never, my sister is she's the child that never offends, okay? So she went through primary school, she was in secondary school at the time, never had, a reason to even, my mom has never ever been invited to school. And me, I've done from, I've not been the best child. I was always that child that, every time you hear my mom's voice, it's me. She's always like correcting me and beating me for something, because I was not the most attentive child, right? So I already know that on a normal day, in a week, I will cry like once or twice. But this one, I knew I would be dead, like, because this is not just an insult, an embarrassment to me. It was an insult to her, because it's not like today where single moms can come out and say, oh, she's, there's already judgment when your husband is not there and all of that. Now your kid is now having suspension is like the highest insult then, because now you can give, unless your child gets pregnant, it's the highest insult you can give, your parents can have. Anyways, so when I was going home, I had this friend, let's call her L. I'm sure L, she knows herself. When we're coming home, I begged her that, because I know my mom, every time we come back from school, she always check her bags to ensure that we've done our assignments, and that you didn't take anything that, if you take a pen If she sees a pen that she does not recognize that she bought for you, in short, if she sees a pen that looks like the pen she bought for you, but she believes the ink, you know, between the time she bought it for you and now, the ink should have gotten to half, and she sees a pen that has full ink in your bag, you are in trouble, because you have to tell her where exactly that pen came from. That was how, you know, disciplined my mom was. That was how she disciplined us growing up. So I knew there was no way if I carried the suspension letter home, she would definitely find out. So me and Elle, thinking that she was on my side, we made a plan. She would keep the suspension letter for me, right, in her bag, and then I'll take it the following day. So what I was going to do is I would do as if I'm going to school, but I would not go to school, okay, for the 2 weeks until the suspension is over. And we agreed. She took the suspension letter home, and I thought I was off the hook. Even though I knew in my heart of hearts that I cannot get away with this. My mother is going to find out one way or the other. But at least it wasn't today. So I came back from school, did my assignments. My mom went through my bags, did everything, we're good. And I went out, we're playing. Tell me why I came back. You know, you see, when you go out to play and your mom calls you, there's a tone she used to call you that you know that, oh, you quickly rush, you know nothing is happening. But there's a tone when your mother calls your name. When mom called my name that day, my heart started doing gigim, gigim, gigim. I knew that Kasala busted. Anyway, I just knew it like I knew my name, that my mom has found out. When I came there, tell me why Elle is giving my mom the suspect. She said her mom saw the letter and her mom did not think that she should. Elle came to give my mom the letter. I think this from that day that I was very careful of friends. You see me and that girl, never again. We never, no. We never again, okay? I think it was from then I became very, very particular about the people that I allow in my circle, because I was stabbed in the back and it was not fine. It was not pretty, okay? Anyway, so my mom saw the letter and we were outside. She asked me to come, but I know that I dare not come. So from my mom was like, you know, we were like 5 meters away from each other. I knelt down there, I started begging. Mommy, mommy, please, I beg you. Mommy, was a mistake. I was not there. I did not do anything. I only went to look. There is no explanation. And see, I think when my mom saw that suspension letter, her ear just went deaf. All she wanted was for me to comfort. And I knew if I came forth, that's where I'm gonna die. I stayed there, I begged her, mommy. I did not, and to be honest, I didn't really dance. When I got there, the party had started. So I just went in and I literally, and that's why the other girls were like, she didn't do anything. We know we did, but she didn't. She just came and looked and she left. Anyway, so my mom didn't want to, the fact that they even if I didn't attend and my mom heard that they invited me, that was a punishable offense. The fact that they felt like they could invite you is already a punishable offense. Okay? So anyways, I begged. I said, hey, my mom, everybody, and that's one thing. You see, my mom is a fire officer. Just like military, they are being trained. If my mom disciplines you, if she, my mom, it's not a joking stuff, okay? Anyways, I knew that I was dead because the one that didn't reach suspension, I knew what my eyes saw. Not to talk of she kept saying that my own child suspended. My own child suspended. I called Iyashegu. I called Iyadami. I called all people, like Iyadami is Dami's mom or Shegu's mom. I called everybody, told me to beg my mom. They shall try to beg. They said I should come and beg her. I knew it's a setup. I sat down there, I was begging. I was ready not to sleep at home that day. See, I knew that this one is either I go there and she beats me and I die, or I run away and never come back home. My mom said, hey, so she left me alone. She kept saying, my child suspended. Sorry, I'm looking at the battery. She kept saying, my child suspended. My child. You know, outside, everybody could see. Everybody knew already because everybody knows my mom. She's a disciplinarian. So everybody knew that, so I could hear people from the other block. If I already explained the way the barracks is, right? There's a different block of three-story building that faces each other. People from the other three stories say, Damola, you don't die. They are telling me that, you know, your enemy, don't finish today. You know, like, they will beat you alive today. You see, hey, everyone that heard that it was me that was suspended were sorry for me. And the beating have not started. I kept there begging my mom. My mom, when she saw that I wasn't coming, she left me alone. She went, she was fetching water, doing everything. She even did for me. I was there. I was crying. They've not beat me. I have cried and cried and cried. I didn't know that my mom went to plan with Brother Shegu. Brother Shegu, if you are watching this video, I didn't forget. I didn't forget. My mom planned with Brother Shegu to go back and capture me from behind. I was still there begging my mother. I didn't know that. But I said, I'm going to capture me. Hey, the next day I know, I felt in my back that somebody is approaching me. By the time I look back, that I should re-strategize and run away. My mother have grabbed me from front. That's how they bombard me inside the house. Let's leave the gory details. But let's just say, wait. In my life, when I hear parry, I don't used to hear the end of the re before I disappear. They don't used to they beat. No. Yeah. It's trauma. I feel like I'm traumatized just thinking about it. See, after that day, if they tell me that there is party happening somewhere, in short, let it be happening in the church, you will never find me there. Because no. By the time my mother finished with me that day, she beat me, I fainted. She beat me, I woke up. Like, this is not even a joke. She beat me, I lost consciousness. But in that losing of consciousness, I was in pain. I woke up back. I'm not condoning abuse. I know people call it abuse these days, but yeah. Anyways, I woke up. She continued beating me. She beat me till she injured her hand, and then I did punishment for the rest of the night. She was so upset and she was so disappointed in me. So the following day, she followed me to school. I thought they beat me because I was sorry. I was weak. I couldn't eat. You know when they beat you and your mouth is too heavy to eat. So I knew that, okay, at least I've chopped the punishment. We went to school the following day. Tell me when my mother brought cane to school. They used cane to flog me from my class to the assistant head teacher's class office. Because remember, that's the only way. If my parents came, then they would. When I got there, I saw A and I's parents also inside the office. And as the A parent is slapping her, I parent is kicking her, my own mother is flogging me. As A parent is slapping her, I parent is in short, the head teacher that brought us started crying started begging for us because even she thought she wanted to beat us. She said she cannot do that. The one we have done is okay. So anyways, that was how they were able to sort it out, and I went to school. You see, her and I, till I left that school, we never spoke to each other again. Hey, I'm like, these children wanted to kill me. That was it though. That was how I was suspended in primary school. It was, see, now I'm talking about it, I'm laughing. During that time, oh God. Oh my God. It was crazy. And yeah, if you're young or if you're sharing this with your kids, you know, and you're a child or a teenager listening to me, I know the pressure is high, you know, everyone is doing things and you feel like you should be doing them. But let me be the first to tell you that, trust me, everybody's faking it, right? Especially on social media today. You don't need the attention. You don't need the unnecessary, you know, talks, unnecessary attention. You don't need it. It won't change. The people that are looking like they are the big girls now, in years to come, it won't matter, right? It will not matter. And you know, it's just so sad. I told you guys about what happened to A in this story, and no, to I rather, in this story, and it was just a very, very sad. Oh, I remember what I wanted to say. I wanted to talk about the fact that, you know, when we talk about Gen Z people, and we always assume that, we always pretend and lie that, oh, this generation is so spoiled and everything. It's not true. We also had our own, you know, wayward days, if not for Christ that, you know, cut our hearts, right? So yeah, it's just bash. It's just called something else today. It's not new, right? But I was saying that I already told you guys what happened to A, and you know, the world can be a very dangerous place, right? Pedophilia, you know, rape and all of those, it didn't just start happening today. It's been happening for a while. Social media is just a way of, you know, shedding light on it, right? And if you know, if I don't want to go there because it's very controversial, right? But yeah, let's give them some grace. If you have a teenager or you see someone who is, you know, not going the way they should go, try to talk to them. It's difficult, sometimes they won't listen, but do your part and talk to them. But don't be in shock. This generation, my dear, if I really be honest, we did worst. Okay, anyways guys, I think that's the end of the story time. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like story time? Do you want me to tell another story? I have another story of the times I used my brother's jacket to do promise card. Whoa, peer pressure. Well, that one I was in primary 3. That's not a story for today. But guys, let me know what you guys think about this video. Until we meet again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please share this video. You never can tell, you might be helping a teenager. Please like, comment, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Until we meet again, I still remain Victoria Idele Fashion. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, have an amazing week and happy Easter. Today is Easter. Happy Easter, guys. All right guys, have an amazing week. Bye.